So this is a short little clip about my dad's old Suzuki A100, which he bought from Gosport in 1981. So it's on a W plate, or it was. Now this was recorded by him, and as you kind of get it ready to try and sell it, it'd been in his shed for a few years, not doing anything. He was never going to ride it again, so we decided to move it along. Now obviously the bike's long gone, it's rusted away, been recycled, tinned into baked bean tins or whatever, but I just thought it'd be interesting from my perspective, because I rode the bike as well for a little while, just to have another look round at it. Now obviously you'll see a few little marks and scars on it where it's had wear and tear. It was used for 19 years, so you know you've got various abrasions and bits of rust breaking through, because that was probably 10 years or 9 years beyond its original life expectancy if you ask the company. Now my dad used to work at a garden machinery place. He was a trained mechanic, so he knew what he was doing, and he used it for travelling 2 miles to work, 2 miles back again. So he came home for lunch most days, so he did about 8 miles a day, so 5 8's 40 miles a week. So total mileage on the bike was 27,000, I think, once he'd finished with it, because I used it for a short while and put some miles on it. It would do about 65, I suppose, if you were enthusiastic, but it was revving like a bee. It was really, everything was tingling through the handlebars. That meant you probably were seeing about 60 mile an hour in real terms, because I'm sure the speedometer is reading over a little bit. Now there's a red fuel tank on the side there. That's a temporary one. That was just off a Suffolk Punch lawnmower, just so that you could start it up and move it around, ride it up and down. Now obviously the tin plate has got a little bit of light surface rusting on there. The swinging arm the other side, there was a baffle plate behind it, just a piece of tin to keep the mud out, and that had holes in it, so he welded that up, put a new piece of tin over it, and when he sold it, the person who took it for an MOT didn't like the MOT tester didn't like the way it was done, as if it was some kind of box section. Now it was only thin tin plate, so we had a good laugh at that, but hey ho, he welded it up and made more of a proper job, which kept the MOT man happy. There you go. So that was probably thicker metal on the inside than there was on the outside. And the screw there was actually where my dad filled it full of oil, so it wouldn't rust again. Planning ahead, like he always did. Seat cover was actually something that lasted quite well on there, which was pretty good. It had didn't get any rips on it. It was getting that way though. My dad, when he rode it, he bought a great big like ex-Army Navy greatcoat, and he had a white crash helmet with a full face plastic visor on there, great big gauntlets. So when he was coming along, all you could literally see was a headlight and the front wheel, and the rest of it was just greatcoat. Would have made a nice cartoon, to be honest. It's got the old sit up and beg handlebars on there, which no, they're not going to change any of that. The original mirrors and everything. As I say, the bike's long gone, but I have fond memories of it. It was a bike you could throw around with enthusiasm in most bends and come out the other side with fair degree of confidence. The suspension was a bit sloppy, a bit bouncy, but it was a commuter special. It wasn't designed for anything more than that, getting from A to B. The engine style was a bit like the Yamaha FS1E, so a bit of a copy on there, just with a slightly bigger pot on it, so you can go a bit faster. No one was going to bother tweaking it. There wasn't any point doing that. So I think it was a 4-speed, might have been a 5-speed box. I think it was 1 down 4 up, can't remember. But either way, yeah, it was a reliable old nail. Points ignition on it. That was take the old generator off, flywheel, just clean it up every couple of years or whatever. The only other thing, you might have suffered occasional with the plug fouling if you're going downhill, but that was more of a thing for smaller bikes. I don't think it was a great problem on that. So yeah, all in all, a nice little bike. If it was still around, I would have kept it myself, but there we go. So long since gone. So as you can see there, it's 98cc and the frame number, standard motorcycle. Couldn't be anything else really, not going to be a racing one, is it? And there's the model designation as well, A100. So yeah, long time gone. I think we're told to take about 1.7 gallons, so you probably got enough in there for about 120 miles, 130 miles before it hits reserve. and probably another 15-20 mile on reserve.